Welcome to Roaming with Restless Women, real talk with wise, dynamic women leaders. I'm your host, Julie Noonan, CEO and founder of Intuitive Wisdom Coaching, and I'm living my dream life. I live and work in my RV, coaching senior women leaders as they navigate corporate politics, family drama, and personal goals to live their own dream lives. These women are restless. They are never done seeking new opportunities, learning, and creating value in the world. If you'd like to apply to be on the show, stick around to the end and I'll let you know how. Let's go. Welcome back to Roaming with Restless Women. Today I have a great friend of mine that I'm so excited to have on the podcast with me, Donna Cravotta. Donna is the CEO and founder of Cravotta Media Group. She's the creator of BeVisible.club, a mastermind community, and the real 50 over 50, the Wisdom Revolution, a visibility project that showcases interviews and panels with over 100 plus remarkable 50 plus women. With decades of experience in PR, marketing strategy, and online platform development, Donna identified a common issue among her clients: gaps in their stories that created gaps in their communications. Determined to help authors, speakers, and small businesses, she spent 2 years reevaluating her 40-year career, listening to small businesses' needs, and redesigning her approach. Today, Donna helps clients reconnect to their stories, blending proven strategies with innovative technology to find and engage their perfect audiences. Her clients find it empowering to see through a new lens and are poised for growth as they step into their purpose and become intentionally visible. I can tell you, I know that Donna has great creativity because every time we talk, I get a new idea. So welcome, Donna. Thank you for joining the podcast.
Oh, I'm very happy to be here, Julie. Thank you for inviting me.
So you started off just being part of the marketing PR community, working with for other companies. What made you change your mind and start your own company?
I actually started working in law firms for 25 years, and
Uh-huh.
then I left. I left in 2006 and started my own business because I'm a single parent. So I realized
Yes.
I was never going to know my child. So I started a virtual business in 2006 when nobody had virtual businesses. And for a couple of years, I just bounced around and was figuring things out and just did whatever I needed to do to be a present mom. And then things started to click. And I
Mm.
started to kind of pull together, skills that I had gotten from working in the law firm all those years. And what I learned along the way in the first couple of years in my business and figuring out what people needed, and social media hit the scene. So that really escalated things and changed things. And, I just started putting things together in different configurations based on what clients needed. And it was probably around 2009, I landed on this combination of content, SEO, social media, and PR. And I have done some form of that ever since. And I've worked with tiny little micro companies, individuals, a lot of authors, a lot of speakers, and bigger companies and everything in between. But I really do like to work with smaller solo business owners that have a mission, that have a purpose, that just are driven by what they do. And I like to help them become visible to the right people that could open the doors that they need for them to make a bigger impact.
Yes. Well, and tell me how that wound up being part of your real 50 over 50.
That was an accident. That was a happy accident. Totally unplanned. I
Uh-huh.
was laying in bed one day and listening to Mika Brzezinski on the Morning Joe show talking about her Forbes 30 over 50 conference. And it's all the same names, always the same names. People
Yeah.
that don't need more visibility. And I'm just laying there, just getting pissed off. And I'm like, and what about this one? What about this one? And what about this one? So I started to make a list of how many women I know that are over the age of 50 that are doing really great work in the world, and not enough people know about them. And it took 15 minutes to make a list of 50 people. So then I started to do a little keyword research, and everything that was targeting women over 50 was about hair and makeup and what not to do, and you're dying a little bit every day.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, that's not really good." And then I bought
No.
the domain, the 50 over 50 for $1. And I said to myself, I should have had to pay for that or negotiate or something. And then I kind of put the pieces together and I get a little tap on the shoulder. And they're like, okay, so now you've got this information, you've got the skills to do something about it. What are you going to do? So I started to reach out to my friends on that list because they were all friends, colleagues, and
Mhm.
clients. And within 2 weeks, I had 40 interviews booked. And we're just about ready to hit 150 women. And
Yes.
except for a handful, everybody is either somebody I personally know or an introduction.
Well, I know that's how I was introduced to you. I had a whole
Mhm.
bunch of women who were actually on your list apply to be on my podcast. So thank you for that. I
And now I'll have more for
actually
you.
number two on the second episode I ever did was Paige Arnoff.
Mm,
Finn. Yeah,
okay.
so and we continue to stay in contact and she's the one that introduced me to you.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's it. I'm telling you, the world of women over 50 is quite vibrant right now. And
Yes,
I know
yes.
that you're adding to that. I'm trying to add to that as well. So what is it about showcasing women that are over 50 and doing amazing things? What is it about that that drives you?
I want to preface this with I've
Hmm.
never been a demographics person. I don't
Okay.
think that that's how I don't think that that's what truly works in marketing.
Hmm.
And it creates these buckets that we're almost siloed and isolated in these
Yeah.
buckets, labeled. So the fact that I have this community called the Real 50 over 50, it's a constant source of amusement to me because it's not what I believe in. But as a woman who is 61 now, something happens to you physiologically and mentally when you turn 50. It really does. And like every decade so far, it just kind of settles a little more. Um, and I think what happens is, well, I'll share what the big lessons were from doing all these interviews so far. Like up until now, we've done 117 interviews and 17 panels. And throughout, every story is unique and individual and, wonderful in its own right, in its own way. But there are some common themes that go through this. One is the 50s is like being in puberty again. It's like your adult version of puberty. Like all the stuff
Yes.
is coming at you, right? When you hit your 60s, this calm comes and you're a little
Yes.
more settled. And I don't know yet about the 70s and the 80s, but we have women all the way into the mid 80s in this community and are still doing things. I have somebody that just turned 80 and she's redesigning her business yet again and not stopping. She's hosting retreats and she's working with clients and she's jumping on
Hmm.
trampolines with her grandchildren and she's
I love
absolutely
that.
amazing. And anytime I feel like I'm doing this again, I'm changing again, I think of her and I'm like, there's no end to this, and that's wonderful. And the other thing is, I've learned that reinvention is a construct to keep us small because
Mm.
it tells us that there's something broken, there's something that's not working, and you need to fix it. So, as natural fixers, what do? We just level everything and start over again, disregarding everything that we've achieved up until this point. So, what does that do? That kicks up all of those imposter syndrome gremlins. I'm not good enough. Everything I did for 40 years doesn't matter. Oh my God, that sucked. Why did I even do that? Why did I think that was any good? Why would anybody want to help hire me? Why, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm starting again at 60. That
Who's out there
whole,
laughing at me,
you've heard
right?
that song. You've
Oh
heard that
yeah.
song, right?
Oh yeah.
But what actually happens is we have the space to remember and to actually ask ourselves, like, what do you actually want? Don't create this because it's a necessity. Create this because it's what you want.
Right.
And we're in a space of being more discerning, having some wisdom behind us, maybe a little bit of money, a little bit of security, and knowing what we don't want.
Yes.
Yeah, and
That's as
so
important as what we do want.
yeah, and then we start to remember what we have, what we've done, what we've accomplished, and we can edit that. So what do I no longer need? Let's leave that. Thank you. I appreciate what you did, and now go your way. And what are
Right.
we're going to keep? And then when we identify what we're going to keep, what can we do with this? What could it be? Can we recycle it or upcycle it? Could we sell it or could we give it away? But now this now becomes the vehicle that takes us into our third act, and it's built on what we've accomplished, so we feel good about it.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And you're exactly 100% correct. All of those things I know I experienced. I'm also 61, so we're, sisters in that regard too. But you are right. When you go through your 50s, all of a sudden, everything you thought you knew kind of gets turned
Hmm.
upside down, and you thought you had control over your emotions and your body. No, it gets screwed up again. And you find
And
out
that's
that
where the health stuff really kicks
that's
in
where
too.
it is. It is. And that's no fun. We thought we were done with that, or we were at least managing it. But I think the
Mm,
greatest toll is the toll on our confidence, our self-confidence.
yeah,
Because when
it's
all
it's
of
it's
this
very
stuff is happening and we feel once again out of control, we thought we
yeah,
were done with that. We
yeah,
thought we had kind of made it, you know? We kind of deserve to be at peace and have this glorious, uh, after all the toils and troubles life. And that's not at all the
yeah.
case. But when you
New
do
level,
get
new
to your
devil.
60s, yes, when you get to your 60s, though, you do have a peace, you do have a calm, but you still have problems, But now I think we
Yeah,
know how to fix, not how to fix them, but how to look at them differently in order that we don't stress the hell out all the time.
discerning is the word.
You
Discerning
are
is the
right.
word.
Discerning is
Because
the
then
word, and you
you
used
get
it.
to you get to decide what's going to crash into my life and what isn't.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Oh man. So what kinds of things from your learnings have resulted in your making changes personally?
Uh, Personally, I had started doing this personally a long time ago. Like,
Yeah.
I erased a lot of people out of my life.
Yeah.
Um, I was craving peace, and I started with it personally. And then, about 3 years ago, I did it in my business. I was finishing up two projects that were very stressful, very um, tough clients.
Hmm.
And as I was wrapping it up, I had three clients that were ready to be onboarded, and they were lovely, and I wanted to work with all of them. But I was at a stage where, like, I was just doing a lot of work I didn't like and I didn't enjoy doing. And I was like, okay, so there's like a real inflection point here because once they leave, I don't actually have any clients because one was massive, the biggest client I ever had. So
Yeah.
there was not a lot of room for everything else. And I was like, what if I just took a break
Yeah.
and kind of rebuilt this? Because when I started my business, it was out of necessity and
Yeah.
like making it up as I went along. What if I just stopped and started over? And that's what I did. And I'm still kind of working on it because it's big. And and AI came in also and kind of changed things up a bit. But I'm
A
finally
bit.
at a
I know
place
you've been
now.
delving into that quite a bit.
Yeah, but I'm finally at a place now where I know where it all fits together, and I'm at the final bits of refinement until the next thing. But for now, but I just I decided I don't want to work with these big clients
Yeah.
because it brought back all of that red tape from working in law firms for 25 years. I worked for big global firms, and
Hmm.
their methodology for everything is if it worked in 1947, why would we stop?
Or if you can't bill it, why are you doing it?
that
Yeah,
kind of a thing too.
yeah, that
So if
that
you were
also.
working back office on in any of that, it's like working back office in consulting. And
Yeah,
you're kind of a second class citizen to some degree, and that doesn't feel too good sometimes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And I was just done. I did it for a long
yeah.
time. It was my first, I've only worked in law firms for
Wow.
years and years and years. And it wasn't pleasant, you know. It just wasn't a good place to work. I made the most out of it and I carved out some, good opportunities for myself. But even that was work. And I had to lie
Yeah.
all the time because I had situations that nobody else had. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that I had to lie about, working my ass off.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by me. So, as a special gift to you, our listeners, I offer a free one-on-one 15-minute breakthrough session. Bring a problem and experience how coaching works to see if it could be of value to you. Sign up for an available time on my website, intuitivewisdomcoach.com.
Well, isn't that funny how if and this just occurred to me for guys, if they say I'm working my ass off, I'm working 80 hours a week or whatever, it's looked at as a benefit or as positive. When we say that, they're thinking, why can't you handle it all?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
I was a single parent, you know?
There you go.
I was leaving a 3-year-old at home and doing that. And they made some accommodations for me, and that's where the lying came in
Yeah, oh
because I
yeah. Yeah.
cannot do this and work these hours
Mm-mm.
and be a parent on my own. I just can't do it. And they didn't want me to go. And the reason they didn't want me to go, I didn't understand until I left because I was a project manager and I
Uh-huh.
managed the implementation of the financial and marketing applications
Okay, yeah.
globally, and we had offices all over the world. And when my son was born, I implemented the virtual training environment because they would send me to offices all over to train
Oh
people and
gosh.
handle rollouts. And then, we got a Citrix account, and I was like, woohoo!
Yes. I remember Citrix. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So
Yep.
I convinced them that it's worth a try to do this virtually, and I used the money angle for that. I went into an executive group meeting with my $30,000 expense report from Paris and the $200 Citrix bill, and I
There
just
you
said
go.
it's worth a try.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
But I never had the opportunity to build the business that I wanted. So I cut out everything I didn't want to do. And I just brought things back a little bit at a time and I tested it out, like anything that was on the maybe list.
Yeah.
And then I just, and ironically, what I ended up doing is kind of what I settled my business on in like 2010. But over the
Okay.
years, what, client needed this or a client needed that, I was like, sure, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that, I could do that. And all of a sudden, I'm building websites and funnels, and I don't work. I don't want to
No.
do that. And it was just taking away from what I really love to do. I love to help people share their stories.
So how do you do that now? Is it the real 50 over 50 and what else? Because I
The
know
real
that's
50
kind of a
over 50,
sideline,
yeah, that's
right?
my passion project.
Yeah.
I'm a visibility strategist, so I
Yes.
help people really doing what I did. And I used to call it a content audit because I would
Uh-huh.
take people through what they have. Like, they'd hire me to help them, have content. And I'd say, okay, what do you got? Let's go take a walk down your Dropbox and your Google Drive and see what's going on in there. And I called it a content audit, and nobody wants to do a content audit. So after I took myself through this, it's now called tried and new. And it's a process.
Okay.
We're going to go and we're going to see what you've already done that's been tried and true. And then we're going to edit it. And then we're going to add some new things to it. And those new things could be content, they could be tools, it could be people, it could be services.
Uh-huh.
It's different for everyone, but it also
Yeah.
what you've already done. And then you come into this feeling good because it's like,
Uh,
oh, look what I accomplished. Like I have a client I did this with her, and she's in the middle of writing a book, and she does a very specific type of meditation. And she's the only person in the world certified to do this type of meditation.
Whoa, okay.
It was very hard to explain. So I was like, we need some kind of like tenets of what this is. So, she's trying to explain it to me. I'm like, you're just getting me more confused.
Yeah.
So I said, go poke around, see what you've already got, because she's got massive amounts of content. She found a book that she wrote like three-quarters of the way through 13 years ago when she spent a month in Paris. And that book contained the tenets of this type of meditation that she did. So now that is all pulled into this new book that she's writing. But she forgot all about that.
You know, that's equivalent kind of to when you get to the point in your life where you want to simplify and you want to, as you said, leave behind the things that you don't want to do anymore or that don't serve you anymore. When my husband and I decided that we wanted to be on the road and go remote and digital nomad life, we live in our RV, as you know. Um, when we went
Hmm.
through all of our stuff in our house, it was it could be a painful experience for some people, but for me, it was very pleasurable because I loved
Yeah.
remembering the memories, but I also loved
Hmm.
not having to have the thing and take care
Yeah.
of the thing and move the
Yeah.
thing. And so it
Yeah.
sounds to me like with a content audit or tried and new, which is what you're calling your process,
Hmm.
um, you're almost doing the same thing only with your work life, which is really cool. I
Yeah.
know I
And
have tons of content from
yeah.
30
Yeah.
years, um,
Yeah.
and I couldn't tell you what half of it was at this point. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I like that
It's
whole
really, it's
idea.
really empowering. And, like
Hmm.
when I was in the middle of doing all of this, I found this TV show
Hmm.
called The Gentle Art of the Swedish Death Cleanse. And it's a book.
Okay.
It was originally a book. And what it's like, going through your stuff before you die.
Yeah.
And that's what this was like. Like the whole
Swedish
process
stuff.
is like that. And I actually just recently listened to the book again because it really is so aligned with the way that I work with clients. And there was one of the episodes of the TV show that really hit home for me. The woman was a retired Las Vegas showgirl. So she had this house in Las Vegas, like hoarder level, full of all kinds of crazy stuff, like feather boas and costumes and, big displays, and everything was very pink and frilly and glittery. But it was just stuff piled into this house. And they went through it while she was still alive. And what came out of this, well, there were lots of things, but the thing that really, really touched me was that they found these blankets that her grandmother had crocheted for her when she was a little girl, and they were stained and tattered and like, they would have been in a dumpster had she passed away first. But the team that did the work in her home, they had them restored and cleaned and mended, and they packaged them beautifully and put like heartfelt notes in them, and they gave them to her granddaughters who she was estranged from. And like she was able to now build these relationships with her granddaughters. And had this whole experience not happened for her, she would not have had that experience. Her granddaughters wouldn't have had that experience. And that's kind of
Wow.
like, that's how I feel about my work. And what I would think for years, those little granny squares that you would make and then crochet them into
Oh,
like a big blanket?
oh
I always
yeah.
felt that way about my work because it was podcasts and media and keywords and content and blogs and social media and all these little pieces. And individually, they don't mean much. But when you put them all together, this is now a platform, right? So when I watched that show and it was dawning on me that this is representative of the work that I do, and then there's like these blankets that are restored and like healing families, I'm like, how did that happen?
How creative. And that's a great way to explain the services that seem to be mismatched. I know a lot of people that they can do a ton of stuff, but when they go to market their companies, they're advised focus on one thing, build stuff for that one thing. And it really can be restrictive.
And when you combine that with like women of our age, I mean,
Yeah.
what we're doing is we're preparing for our third act. And there's no room to get it
Yeah.
wrong this time. There's no room. And,
No.
and there's no right or wrong, but it's got to be right for us.
Right.
Right. So like what I find myself doing now, and I'm about ready to kind of rewrite a bunch of the content on my website because this is where I've really settled, is that I want a small handful of clients that are established and experienced and accomplished, and they just want to do what they want to do. And they want an easy way to do it. And
Yeah.
they want people to know who they are for them. And they have a purpose and a mission. And I want to help them create businesses and content and visibility and a platform that they can sustainably work for as long as they choose to, doing what they love to do.
That's a beautiful mission because there's a saying that when you get over 50 or at some point between 50 and 60, you become invisible.
Hmm.
And it's true to a certain extent. You
I had
know,
somebody ask me a
yeah,
couple of weeks ago, like, could I lower my price? I said no. And they said, why? I said, because you get 40 years of experience when you get me.
that's right. I am not a fiver person.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a lifetime of experience.
Right.
And I'm not just looking at one thing. I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at everything.
And we tend to those of us who are wise women, and I think everybody that I talk to on this podcast is a wise woman.
I bet they
Those of
are.
us who are wise women, we see the context. We
Yeah.
intuit the context a lot of times because we've been there.
Yeah.
We've been in that or a
Mhm.
similar situation.
Yeah. I mean,
So
when I got the
to
domain,
explain,
yeah,
you
when I
don't,
got the domain, the real 50 over
yeah,
50, it was just because it was available. But it didn't dawn on me until about 6 months into this that how relevant the real was. Because it
yes,
is real women with real stories and real life experiences. And it's not about, pushing products or download my PDF. None of that. This is just stories.
right.
And that's what I love about it.
Well, and that's what my podcast is all about as well, is
Yeah.
how are women over 50 sharing their wisdom?
Hmm.
What have they been through? What have they learned? And so we are on trajectory, the same path. And I think
Yeah.
there are many other women that are over 50. That's why I say there's this influx.
Yeah.
We will not be ignored.
No. No,
And those
I
of us
don't think
who
so.
were kind of rebellious when we were little, learned that lesson early. So,
My
and I
threat
wonder
was,
if
oh, sorry.
I think maybe we are the first or second generation of really rebellious women. I
Yeah.
mean, at large.
It was an option.
Yeah, we had
It
that
wasn't an
option.
option before us.
Well, I have three questions that I ask. Since we're close to our time, for ask everybody at the end of the episode.
Mhm.
The first one, if you can close your eyes just for a moment. In your mind's eye, share with me what you see when I say the words wise woman.
I see an army.
An army. Ah, I love it. Tell me about it. You can
I
open your eyes.
guess. Um, there's a lot of us. We need to band together.
Yes,
There's a lot of us, and we're not done, and the world needs us.
I think so
And
too.
I think one of the things that really is important to me is that we're kind of like that bridge between the way things were and the way things are going. And there's things that we need to share that other generations just will never know if we don't share them.
Okay, second question. Where do you like to roam?
Just about anywhere. I really enjoy getting lost. and then figuring out how to get home.
That's that native problem solver in you, isn't it? Yeah. That curious, rebellious native problem solver. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anywhere because I just know, like, around any corner there could be something that makes me curious.
Yeah. Miraculous things happen. Oh, I love it. Okay. Final question. Donna Cravotta,
Hmm.
what makes you restless, but in a good way?
That we just need to be visible to the right people, and more people need to know about us. And I really feel passionately that women our age need to know how to use AI, how it works, because that's what's going to keep us
Yes.
relevant.
Where can people get a hold of you?
Everything's on my website, cravata.mediagroup.com.
Great. So I'll put that in the show notes.
Hmm.
And if there's anything else that you would like to share with our audience, I'm glad to put that in the show notes as well. And
Yeah, just
folks,
come every Wednesday at noon
yep,
Eastern. I have a live interview on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Come and meet these incredible women that I interview every week.
absolutely. I'm going to put that on the show notes as well. Thank you so much for reminding me of that. Folks, this woman is amazing. You really need to get to know her. Go look at her information on her website. Join in on the interviews on Wednesdays at noon Eastern, and we will see you the next time on Roaming with Restless Women.
Julie Noonan here. Thank you so much for listening to Roaming with Restless Women. If you're a successful senior woman leader who would like to be on this program, please visit podcast.intuitivewisdomcoach.com. If you enjoyed this interview, please share this episode on social media and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Your thumbs ups and reviews go a long way.